Everyone deserves to be treated with respect, regardless of race, gender, or sexual orientation. Employee Assistant Specialist Dr. Bernie McCann joins us to discuss how we can be more inclusive and supportive of those who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer. That's next on Wellbeing Matters. Thank you for tuning in to Wellbeing Matters. Dr. McCann has devoted his entire career to improving employee health and wellness in a variety of settings, and now we're fortunate to have him here with us at MCPS. Dr. McCann, thanks for being here today.
Thanks. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm happy to talk about a subject like this, which is very important to all of us.
So, LGBTQ+, what do all the letters mean?
Well, they can be confusing, so maybe it's best if we go through them one by one. So L stands for lesbian, which is a person who's a female who's attracted to another female. G stands for gay, which is typically refers to people who are attracted to the same gender, often referred to by males who are attracted to other males, but is always also used by women and other non-binary people to suggest that they're not heterosexual. B stands for bisexual. These are people that are attracted to either gender or sexual identity. T, transgender, means a person who does not necessarily accept the assigned gender from their birth. Now, a person who's transgender may or may not wish to seek treatment through hormonal or surgery to assume physical characteristics of another gender, or they may just assume the dress and attitudes and carriage of the other gender. Q could stand for queer or questioning. Let's start with queer. Queer is often synonymous with gay to some people. It simply means that they reject the heterosexual orientation. It often can be derogatory to some people because in the past it was pejorative, but it's becoming more and more readily accepted. Q also stands for questioning. Some people are still questioning where they fall on the spectrum of LGBTQ or even heterosexual. And so for them, it's an opportunity to communicate that they are still figuring this out for themselves.
Thank you. Yeah. What is inclusive language to use or helpful terms to be aware of?
Well, people exhibit their sexuality and their gender identity in a myriad of ways. When we wish to use inclusive language, we wish to embrace all people at wherever they are and wherever they find themselves or whatever they consider themselves to be. So inclusive language helps us to make that possible for them and for them to feel comfortable as they see themselves. For example, it's more helpful not to use a term like guys when we refer to a group, because they may not all be guys or they may not all consider themselves to be guys. Also, when referring to people that are not there, sometimes it's best to use a term like them rather than he or she, because that makes an assumption on our part, and they may not agree with that assumption. MCPS policy is that students will be addressed or referred to in the terms that they prefer. Now, sometimes we might not know what a person's preferences are. We may use the wrong term, but it's easy enough to stop and apologize and simply ask an individual, how do they prefer to be identified, or what pronouns do they like to use? And when you do that, then simply continue and respect their preference going forward. We'll never be able to always be correct with everybody, but it's important to be open and then to say, yes, I'm willing to do that if you state a preference.
Absolutely. And help us understand what it means to come out.
The term coming out refers to the process of an individual who makes a change or creates a new assumption or a new identity for themselves based on how they feel about themselves, their sexuality and or their gender identity. This process is a very personal one, and for some people, it can be quite difficult. In my personal experience and in my 20 plus years as a mental health professional, I have come to the understanding that it varies so much for everyone. It's a very individual process. Some people may be quite afraid of how their family, their friends, their coworkers, their classmates will perceive them when they make a change to people's assumptions of them. In fact, some people may even fear for their physical safety during this process. So it's helpful when we do see someone who might be going through this to, again, be supportive, ask them what their preferences are, listen to what they tell us, and respect that going forward.
Dr. McCann, how can we be an ally to individuals that identify as LGBTQ+?
Well, that's a great question. And people who don't identify as LGBTQ and yet who respect and understand and support their desire for equal treatment and respect are known as allies. And it's easy to be an ally simply by showing your support, by being friendly, smiling, using the proper body language, welcoming body language, asking people what their preferences are, and then using those going forward, all of which will help people feel more supported. There are many organizations which help support this, including the Trevor Project is one. It's a national organization. PFLAG is an organization called Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. It's been around a long time. They have chapters all over the country. A local organization is called Montgomery County Pride Center. They have many groups for gay and lesbian and bisexual and transgender youth. And also they have a TransUnion meeting that they host every month. So it's a local organization that you can tap into. If you go and Google LGBTQ support and organizations, you will find many, many of these, and the resources I'm sure will be extremely helpful to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McCann.
You're welcome.
We hope you found today's conversation useful and increase your understanding of how to be supportive with those individuals who identify as LGBTQ+. MCPS staff, please know the Employee Assistance Program is here for you and your immediate family members. We offer no-cost, confidential counseling and referrals. Take care, everyone, and be well.